fortunes of war can change their way. We imagine our lives will be. The March family are on their way. They're Joe, Beth, and Amy.
Newport is lovely in the spring, and made even more so by being with you, my dearest Meg.
I feel the same way, John.
I'm glad you're happy, too. I want our entire life together to be as splendid as this moment.
From the time Meg and John decided to get married, they didn't even seem to notice that I existed. I might as well have been just a butterfly on a flower for all they cared. They were so tiresome.
John, we've been so busy talking, we forgot all about Amy. Amy, dear, what are you doing?
Huh? I'm just smelling the flowers.
Do you have to be so long about it?
I really want to get to know them, Meg.
Don't sniff them so violently, Amy. You're liable to get a bee up your nose.
Why should you care?
What are you talking about? I mean it, Amy. Come on.
Why are you in such a hurry, Meg?
Pick some and bring them with you. You're acting just like a cranky old lady, Amy. John has to tutor Laurie, and he'll be late if you don't keep up with us.
Well, go on. You don't want me around anyway.
I'm sorry, dear. John and I planned this walk so we could have a long talk.
It's not very good manners to ignore me.
I apologize, Amy. You're right. Meg and I have neglected you just dreadfully.
It's not as if we invited her to accompany us.
But Amy feels she has something important to contribute.
Bless my bonnet. I bet you I could plan your entire wedding.
You're just being impertinent. You know wedding plans are a private affair between the two people in love. Mommy's the expert. I'll consult.
All right, don't bite my head off. At least let me help arrange the flowers.
My dear Meg and Amy, I hate to interrupt you. I must get back. Laurie's waiting for me.
Of course. We'll continue our flower discussion later. Take my hand, Amy. We don't want to make John tardy. Mr. Lawrence will fret.
Yes, especially since Laurie has been somewhat distracted lately.
Do you have any idea why he's losing his concentration?
Maybe it's spring.
I think he's worried Joe might go to New York.
Where did you get such an idea? Joe didn't say anything about going to New York. You're fibbing.
I know what I know.
That's a lot of nonsense, Amy. She'd tell me.
Well, maybe not this time.
What?
She was talking about it in her sleep, Smarty. I was happy as a cricket that John was so amused. He thought eavesdropping on someone while they slept was quite unique. Even Meg giggled as we walked home arm in arm. And there was Father to greet us, looking fit as a fiddle. It was hard to believe he had ever been so terribly ill.
Hello.
Hello. Hi,
Amy's
Father.
too fast.
I get everybody home.
Awfully nice to see you again, sir. I have to run along to work now. Goodbye, darling.
Love you.
Goodbye now. Save me some work, Mr. March. I'll come by
Watch
later
out.
to help you.
What's the purpose of all this digging, Father?
I'm planting an elm, the state tree of Massachusetts, Meg.
Will we be able to picnic under the tree soon?
It will take several years for the tree to mature before it's perfect for picnics. As you grow, Amy, so will our tree.
As I watched my father, content in his work, I heard Beth playing her dear piano. I imagined the cozy times we would all have together under our new tree, now that Father and Beth were well again. As Beth continued to play, Meg and I silently entered the house, not wanting to disturb her. Beth loved music ever so much, and we loved to hear her play. It was a good feeling. Father at home and Beth at her piano. Our happiness would have been truly complete if the war were over and Father could stay home for good.
I hope you had a nice walk. It's such a beautiful day.
Ever hear lovebirds talk? You wouldn't believe the silly gibberish.
John and I were having a romantic stroll when a certain party decided to walk with us. I'm sure she told you we invited her.
Really? What's all the fuss and feathers? You should go for a walk, Beth. It would do you good.
But I'll make sure there's no lovebirds around.
I suggested to Beth that Joe probably needed a break from her writing and that they could take a walk together.
Come on in.
We hope we're not disturbing you, but we thought you might like to take a rest from riding.
Well, I was just finishing up and was about to take a little break.
Joe, how about going for a walk with me?
If you're sure you're well enough, we could walk down to the newspaper office. How'd that be? Fresh air and sunshine, just what you need.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And if you're not too tired, we can go by Aunt March's house and visit. You haven't paid your respects in quite a long time.
Splendid. I'm so happy we can go on this outing. It'll be just like old times, Joe.
As Joe hugged her, I knew Beth was back to her old healthy self again. They left on their outing a short time later, departing in a very ladylike fashion. But I knew they would run like the wind as soon as they were out of sight.
Beth, all that resting has made you faster than ever. Wow!
Hooray!
Wait for me!
Mercy me, Joe. I'm really beating you, and I'm not getting tired at all or even running out of breath. I forgot all my manners and kept thinking how happy it would make you if I won. I tied my bonnet down so it wouldn't blow away. That's how come I went so fast.
That was brilliant. You beat me fair and square, and you're becoming a very capable young woman.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Now I have some news I'd like to share with you. I need to try my wings. For a while now, I've felt restless, and I want to be seeing, doing, and learning more than I am. To write a great novel, it's important to see more of the world.
Where would you go?
New York.
Oh,
Marmee and Father said I could leave after Meg's engagement party.
I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too, dear Beth.
Where will you stay?
At Mrs. Kirk's boarding house, I'll be paying my way by sewing and tutoring her children.
I can imagine the jolly time all those children will have with you there. Even though we won't be together, I'll be happy knowing you're doing what you have to do to advance your career.
Golly, Miss Joe, you going to New York?
Yes, that's my plan.
When, Missy?
Right away.
Well, I'm sure gonna miss you if you don't mind my saying so.
I'll mail you my first book. And of course I'll be coming home when Meg gets married. It's not as though I were going away for good.
Well, I'm glad of that at least. Begging your pardon, ma'am, but I'm beholden to the Marches for my work in Massachusetts.
I appreciate that, but you don't owe us a thing.
Well, before you go, may I say I'm much obliged to you.
Someone's coming.
Uh-oh.
Huh? Who?
I reckon that must be Mr. Murdoch.
John, clear the front page. Cut the lead story. Reset the type. I've got some big news.
Yes, Mr. Murdoch. Right away.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't know you were here.
I've brought Beth. Beth, this is Mr. Murdoch.
Honored.
Indeed, a pleasure. Guess what? Lee just surrendered to General Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse.
Oh.
That means the war's over, Miss March.
Oh, that's wonderful. That means my father won't have to go back to war.
That's right.
Oh.
Oh, Joe!
I'm telling you, Miss March, you'll remember this moment all your life. April 9th, 1865, the day the Union was saved. I'm so proud of this country. Yay!
Hey.
That's the first.
Hi.
Well, all set up for the new lead story, John?
I am. Yes, sir.
This edition is going to set a new sales record for the Times.
That's great news, Mr. Murdoch.
This is what makes the newspaper business so exciting.
Yes, Beth, my work is stimulating.
Yes.
So, you have some news to tell me? Am I correct, Miss March?
Yes, I'm going to New York to live.
Oh?
I hope to get new ideas there for my writing.
Well, now I'm all for it. Just as long as you send me your stories to print in my paper.
I'd like that very much. In fact, I brought a story I've just finished.
I'll run it right away. With Anthony gone, I feel kind of daring these days.
You'd better read it first. The content may be too daring for some of your readers.
I'm not worried. What's it about, Joe?
It's easy, Lori. A plus A equals 2A. And it follows A plus B equals B plus A. It doesn't matter what numbers A plus B represent.
That sounds very familiar to me, John.
Well, it should. We went over the same equation yesterday.
I sure would like to take a break now, all right?
Lori, I'm becoming very concerned about your lack of concentration. We have only 2.5 months left to prepare you for this year's examinations.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Then why aren't you applying yourself?
I don't know.
Well, I know how this spring weather can affect a fellow, but you've got to buckle down for your grandfather's sake. You don't want to disappoint him.
No, I can't let him down. I know. You could take a break while I review all the equations.
That'll be fine. If you get stumped on one of those problems, just holler. I'm going to give Mr. March a hand.
Oh, Joe, why must you leave at a time like this? Why?
Are you stuck on something, Lori?
No, why?
I was on my way out when I heard a loud shout. I thought you were calling me.
No, it wasn't me. Thanks for asking.
Bye, then.
You are perfectly maddening, Joe. I'll be hanged if I let you get to me like this. I've got to focus on my studies. You can go away, but you won't forget me even if you try. You'll see.
I'm so pleased to see you.
Go away, go away.
Pay no attention to Polly. I enjoy having my nieces drop by. Of course, I'm not sure Beth should be out so soon after her illness, but no one asked my advice.
But Beth hasn't been out in months. The fresh air has revived her. Plus, we just heard the news that the war is over and the North has won.
Well, the burning of the March's shoe factory by those Southern rebels has finally been avenged. I hope President Lincoln makes those miserable Confederates sorry for the suffering they've caused me.
Go away, go away.
I believe that the president has more important things on his mind than that, don't you?
I'm a bad bird.
I have some other news. I'm going to New York to live, Aunt March.
What did you say, Joe?
I'm going to New
You
York.
girls certainly have independent natures, and no matter what I say, that can't be changed. Meg went right ahead with her engagement to that pauper, against my wishes, and now you tell me you're leaving for a life of adventure in New York. Well, I won't oppose you, Joe. It's important for you to make your own decisions.
You'll be proud of me.
Bless your buttons, dear. Be a lamb.
Now you be a lamb, Polly, and hush.
Keep on writing your masterpieces. You have great talent, Joe. Use it wisely to make something of yourself.
I will. I'll be living with Mrs. Kirk and her 2 children. I'll be tutoring the little ones and doing some sewing as well.
I hope it works out. I really do. Who's there?
It's me, Aunt March. I have something to show you.
Away, away.
What I have here will open a new world for me. Under this cover is my new career, for my gambling days are really over, Aunt March. You'll see. I bet you've never seen one of these contraptions before, and I own the very first one. What do you mean?
You know what it is, Beth?
Are you willing to lay me odds? I'll bet you this device against your piano that you haven't got a clue.
Stop it now, David. You're such a shameless rascal.
Sorry, David, but I don't gamble.
Didn't mean to offend you. I was just jabbering. Now, are you ready for the dazzling unveiling? Abracadabra. Hocus pocus pocus. And by magic it appears. Ta-da!
What in the world is that?
I believe it makes photographs.
Be quiet, Polly.
It's a camera. Well, how does it work?
It's very involved. I doubt that you'd understand.
How did you learn how to use it then?
I'm trained, and I happen to have a natural ability that can't be taught. I'm a born photographer.
Last week you were a born gambler, so I suppose it's an improvement.
Sometimes it takes a while to find your field. I'm not denying that finding photography has been a long trip. I'm unequaled. In fact, my work is so good you'll be amazed when you see the photos.
And just where are those photos, David?
It really means a lot to me that you're taking such an interest in my work, Auntie, but I haven't taken any yet. I was thinking your garden would be nice for the first one, and you too, of course.
How dare you come fibbing about your skills? I wouldn't be surprised if you won that camera gambling. According to my reports, that's your primary ability in life.
That's not fair, Aunt March. Though I'm not proven yet, I have talent, ample talent.
Maybe you could get your start by coming to take pictures of Meg's engagement party.
I've got much bigger plans than that, dear. I'm going to become famous with this camera. I'm going into the midst of battle to take photographs of the war.
Why?
Because it's exciting and dangerous like me. I'll use this camera like a gun, poised and pointed at the action. I'll be the real hero of this war.
The war is over. The Union won. You'll have to change your plan, I guess. Too bad.
You sure about that?
Press your buttons, dear. Be a lamb.
Joe, it's getting late. I think we should be going.
In a minute, Beth. Hey, try to cheer up. I'd still like you to take photos at Meg's engagement party.
For Meg's party, Mr. Lawrence provided a splendid feast.
I feel as though I were a part of the March family. And at this joyful time, I hope you'll indulge me for a few moments while I share some of my thoughts with you. It's a joy to witness the beginning of this union of Meg and John. May your lives be filled with happiness. And after Lori graduates, I hope to convince John to remain here in Newcard. There is a position in my company that I'd like you to consider taking. I'm sure Mrs. March will agree I'm getting a hard-working man in the process, and may God bless both of you. Oh!
Oh?
Good gracious, I completely forgot our dear little Joe is leaving us today. Now, my dear, are you sure going to New York is what you really want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Use this trip to expand your creative abilities. You'll be a celebrated writer one day, I'm sure of it.
He's right.
And just one more thing, Joe. Promise you'll rely on your good common sense while you're in New York, and use it every minute.
I promise I'll do that. And thanks for all your faith in me. I won't disappoint you.
That was very nicely said, James.
Well, I'm so upset. How dreadful.
What is it, Grandfather? Are you all right?
Well, of course, I'm just getting forgetful. How could I be so remiss?
Huh?
See, our nation can heal itself now that the devastation has finally ended, and that's the greatest event we're celebrating today.
I wish we could eat. My stomach's growling.
Amid our good wishes for Meg, John, and Joe, we must give thanks for the Union victory which has brought the North and South together. We're once again indivisible under God as this great country was intended to be.
If I may, I would like to express my gratitude, not only for your splendid words, but for all the kindnesses you've extended to Mary, my little women, and myself. I'm honored to have you as a neighbor and as a friend. Thank you. Bless this food, Lord, and thank you for bringing peace. I can hear Amy's stomach, as I'm sure you do, so I'll make this brief. John and Meg don't appear to be hungry, but the rest of us are. So come on, everybody, let's enjoy this magnificent feast that James has so graciously provided. It's time to begin.
Bravo.
I can't wait.
Oh dear, your manners.
Sorry, Mommy.
Don't Meg and John look perfect together, Amy?
Yes, but they're sure boring.
James, we've lived in Newport a long time, but I can't recall us ever chatting together like this.
My dear lady, that simply isn't true. I can remember a conversation we had about 50 years ago.
I thought you arranged photographs.
David was supposed to be here over an hour ago.
Well, since he's not coming, don't you think you should tell Meg and John about your surprise anyway?
I guess I could.
Yeah! Yeah!
Did somebody mention photographs?
How did you find out about them?
What do you mean? Meg and I made plans to have some taken.
And which photographer did you hire?
Well, your cousin David said he'd like to take them.
Cousin David? I hired him. It was supposed to be your party surprise.
That was very dear of you, Joe.
That rogue? How dare he double-cross me?
Oh, I'm sure he didn't mean for that to happen.
Let me think. At first he did seem rather dumbfounded at the idea, right, Meg?
Mm-hmm. It sounds like the three of you had the same notion. David's probably afraid to show up, thinking you'll all misunderstand. I don't believe there's enough time to send for David before Joe leaves. We'll just have to wait for your wedding to have our photos taken.
Yes, and I'd better find us a house soon so we can move ahead with our plans for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the nerve that shows up now, I'm giving him a piece of my mind.
He could use it.
What do you mean arriving almost 2 hours late for our photographs? You are the most inconsiderate... Ugh!
Hello. I'm sorry. I'm late because one of my wheels came off. It rolled down a hill and I had to chase after it.
David swiftly set up his equipment, and we all assembled for the big moment.
Okay, everybody. Now, this is the camera lens. You must keep your eyes focused on this spot at all times. It's very important that you keep absolutely still. Don't move a muscle till I'm through.
We're all ready.
Good. Now, hold your breath for a minute.
Hey, Beth, let's get Milky Ann in the picture.
She is part of the family. Yes.
Huh? I'm sorry, animals wiggle.
She'll be good.
If there's even the slightest movement, the whole photograph will be ruined.
She'll be still.
But not for a whole minute.
Amy, please put her down, dear.
Sorry, Milky Ann.
Hold your positions while I check my focus.
I wanted to giggle when David disappeared under his curtain, but he said to stay still. It was harder than keeping quiet at Aunt March's house.
Everything's in focus, here we go. Now look this way and smile.
There was a big flash. The photo turned out okay, but we sure looked prim. And Joe had to leave immediately. There was hardly any time for proper goodbyes. Lori insisted on taking her to the station.
So long.
Be sure to get plenty of rest.
I will. Oh, Joe, we'll miss you. Promise you'll take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Joe, could you take me with you to New York?
Sorry, Amy. Don't cry, Hannah.
You know that I'll always be here for you.
Thank you, Father. I love you. Hannah, take good care of my family.
I'll do my best, Miss Joe.
Bye, everyone.
See you
Back
soon.
for our wedding.
I'll send you a print of the photograph.
I'm on my way to New York.
It's hard for me to understand why you're leaving here.
I need to try my wings away from Newport.
What does she mean by that? Now you sound like you're some kind of bird trying to fly away from me.
How can you think that? I just want to take a crack at something new.
I'll show her I can be determined too. I'll graduate with honors.
Oh?
John says if I keep up the good work, I'll be delivering the Latin oration at the ceremony.
That's great.
It could be rough. The children you're tutoring could turn out to be little monsters.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
Well, I'm not in the least bit worried about them. Once somebody told me I could handle anything. Now, what was his name? Lori.
She knew what I was trying to do. I couldn't fool her. Oh boy, you sure got me pegged.
Oh, sorry. Okay?
All aboard.
Bye.
Have a nice trip.
Bye, Lori. Write me.
There's a book on your seat. Look at page 48.
Thank you, Lori. I will.
As Joe left on the train that April day in 1865, she left behind a young man who would become an even more important part of her future than he had been of her past. And although they'd never really talked about it, I think they both knew they were destined to be together someday. But for the moment, Joe was content to seek her fortune in New York City, taking with her fond memories of the adventures of 4 little women who had known their share of hard times, but had mostly shared wonderful and fun times, because they had learned that a family's love would always see them through.
Fortunes of war